organizations, how their organizations are structured, inclusive leadership, and improved communication in order to promote human empathy and unity. So that's a big title. But really what I'm getting at is, it's not what you say. And by the way, I apologize for these vertical lines. I don't know how to get rid of them, so we'll just have to live with them. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. What's behind the words that you're saying? Is there heart in it, or is there something else? You know, what is the intention? What is my intention in terms of talking to you guys? What is your intention in terms of the permaculture manifestations that you go on to do? I think the intention is much more important than actually what's happening. And what happens for me, and you'll see in this PowerPoint, there's a lot of information. I tend to get into the mind a lot. So I'm going to talk today about the breath as an option to get out of that, that mental processing. Even if your intentions are good, you can still get stuck in the mind. And how much of what we're doing is trying to polish or make the self-image look good. And I've given a lot of presentations. This is my first presentation in Austin, but a lot of them have been in New York. And a lot of that time is, you know, what is really my intention? Am I trying to look good? Am I trying to convince people of something? Or am I trying just to be present and share just an opinion that I had at the time of the presentation? My opinion may be different when I see the slides. I don't know. It's really part of my own process to let go as much as possible. So I'll give you guys a description of time banking and I can answer questions about it. But for me, that's secondary to the context and having an audience open to receiving it. The 600 people who joined the time bank were open to it in varying degrees, but the 10 million other New Yorkers who weren't, that's what I'm really curious about. So just to define time banking, I call it a paid-forward barter network. If you've seen this at Time Bank here in Austin, although I haven't checked to see if it's still operational, but they have a list of all these things that people are offering. You go online, you have time credits. Usually when you join, they give you like 20 credits. You can spend those on people, and then you want to start offering something so that it's a currency just like any other, but it's all on the computer. And we can talk more about that. But I'm interested more in the overarching structures behind it. Holacracy, is anyone familiar with holacracy? Cool, because I know very little about it, but I'm talking about it. But basically, the typical structure, like when I worked in advertising, there's a CEO, and then there's the corporate ladder. And most people are either at the bottom of that ladder or somewhere in the middle of that ladder. Well, holacracy organizes not in that sort of ladder structure, but in circles. So the CEO of a company may be just a member on lots of different circles. For example, waste management, janitorial things. Well, there's an individual, the superintendent or janitor is in charge of that circle. The CEO answers to that person. So there's courses in it, and I just want to talk about sort of where I think hierarchies are moving without getting into too much detail about holacracy. I like to joke I know a little bit, just enough information to be dangerous, in that I will talk about things in my own context, and if someone's an expert in time banking or holacracy, they may, or even spiral dynamics, they may question how I'm presenting things. But for me, I just go in deep enough so that I can have a synthesis. But in the future, it might be something to explore for me personally. So, but my point is, unless there's a motivation and appreciation for time banking, holacracy, and the other things I'm talking about, and permaculture, and a context for it, then it's just information, it's just concepts, and they don't manifest. So how useful are they? They're fun to talk about, but do they really go anywhere? So here's a context